Francis Ngannou blames Dana White for being a massive obstacle that blocked the Jon Jones fight. Francis recently shared his thoughts on the chances of a long-awaited showdown with Jones, revealing that he sees UFC President Dana White as the main roadblock. In an interview with Sportsbook Review, Ngannou questioned whether White even wants him to succeed outside the UFC, hinting at lingering tension following his departure from the promotion. Despite his desire for the fight, Francis admitted he doesn't believe it will happen, citing White as the key obstacle. He explained that he's been trying to secure a fight with Jones since 2020, right after his win against Rosenstruck at UFC 249. According to Francis, the UFC dangled the possibility of the Jones fight as a lure to keep him from leaving, describing it as a bait-and-switch tactic. Ngannou made it clear that his career doesn't hinge on fighting Jones. He's focused on his own path and is content with his accomplishments, regardless of whether the super fight ever materializes. Quote, "If you can get past Dana White, it could happen, but that's a massive obstacle. But personally, I don't care. I'm doing well. I'm doing my stuff at my pace. I don't care. That won't change my sleep for me. I have tried to fight Jon Jones for 4 years, and then they were holding it out like a trap until the moment that I was about to leave. Then they said, okay, here's the Jon Jones fight. But it was bait. I felt they were very tricky." End quote. The Predator believes White struggles to accept how things played out and even questions whether the UFC boss wants to see him fail outside the promotion. Regardless, Ngannou remains focused on his own path forward. Daniel Cormier surprisingly defends Jon Jones after a bizarre Instagram live session. As Jones continues negotiations with the UFC for his return, he's been spending time with family and friends. However, fans were caught off guard when Jones went live on Instagram in the early morning hours last week, delivering a rant that quickly raised eyebrows. "You get pissed off, disappointed, and as a dad, you just want to kill them," Jones said during the live stream. The video quickly made the rounds on social media, with fans expressing concern over his remarks. Not long after, Jones took to Twitter to address the situation, posting a since-deleted apology. "Sorry, was just getting crazy, I'm done over it," he wrote. During a recent episode of Funky and the Champ, DC made a rare defense of Jones after the clip went viral online. Quote, "I don't like being supportive of Jon Jones. Jones was walking down the street, saying some crazy stuff about his kid. If he was on vacation, haven't we all been there? Maybe not that extreme, but our kids drive us crazy. And you know what the worst part is? When you go back to that hotel room, you're the bad guy. Everyone's going to make it like you're the bad guy for being upset. I don't want to defend him, but come on, haven't we all been there?" End quote. After initial concerns about Jones's mental state amid his ongoing negotiations with the UFC, Dake and others have downplayed the situation, believing the clip was overblown online. As of now, it remains unclear what or who Jones was referring to in his rant. In a recent video on Vado Gvingilia's YouTube channel, he shared footage of himself and Merab Dvalishvili reacting live to Khamzat Chimaev's fight against Kamaru Usman, and it was clear that Merab was heavily rooting for Usman, actively cheering him on, urging him to swing and go for the win. When Kamaru finally started throwing, Merab reacted with frustration, saying he should have done it earlier. Throughout the fight, both Merab and Vato were fully behind Usman. But what really stood out, it wasn't just that Merab was supporting Usman, it was that he was openly rooting against Khamzat.
Let's go, Usman.
Come on, press him. Press him for fuck's sake. Come on, Usman. You must fight like a warrior. Let's go. Man, Kamaru must press him and swing. Be careful, Kamaru. That was a slip. It was nothing. We need 5 rounds of this. Man, Khamzat is winning this. Last seconds. Come on, Usman. Give it all you got, man, please. Look at him. He's swinging now. Should have started swinging in earlier rounds, for God's sake. Khamzat didn't take kindly to that. In an appearance on Adam Zubairayev's YouTube channel, he was asked about Merab cheering against him, and that's when he snapped. Khamzat didn't call Merab out by name, but the message was clear. He brushed off the criticism, saying he hears this kind of talk all the time, but never sees that same energy when it actually matters, face to face. He even pointed out that he and Merab had met before, yet none of this attitude was there then. Look, man, even as a professional, there must be moments when you just stop caring and decide to confront people who talk bad about you or don't want to see you succeed. Does that ever happen? I mean, look at Merab, for example. You saw how he was openly rooting against you. What do you say to that? I mostly don't care, to be honest. There were times when I bothered confronting some people, but now it doesn't bother me. I've also gotten used to the fact that a lot of these fighters don't want to see me win. They act one way in front of a camera, but when I see them in person, they're silent. The energy just isn't there. In this case too, I've met him before, and he didn't say anything negative. I'm not here to insult anyone, but I believe that if you're a man, you should keep the same energy in person, not just behind a camera. This latest exchange only adds fuel to the growing tension between Georgian fighters and the Dagestani Chechen camp. The rivalry has been simmering for a while now. Ilya Topuria has been vocal about wanting to fight Islam Makhachev, while Islam and his team have dismissed the idea, saying El Matador needs to prove himself at lightweight first. On the other hand, Merab and Umar Nurmagomedov have had intense back and forth, even escalating into a physical altercation. There's a competitive edge to these matchups, but also an underlying tension that keeps escalating, whether it's Ilya versus Islam, Merab versus Umar, or even Chimaev taking shots at Merab. This rivalry between the Georgian fighters and the Dagestani Chechen elite isn't going away anytime soon. Justin Gaethje thinks Islam Makhachev is a better matchup for him than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Justin has his eyes locked on another shot at UFC lightweight gold, and this time he wants Islam Makhachev standing across from him. Before he can stake his claim for a title shot, Gaethje faces a critical test at UFC 313, where he takes on Dan Hooker in a 5-round co-main event in Las Vegas. It's a must-win fight for the highlight, a chance to reaffirm his status as one of the division's top contenders. Gaethje has been on the doorstep of undisputed glory twice before, only to fall short against Khabib Nurmagomedov and Charles Oliveira, both by submission. But despite those setbacks, his hunger to reach the top hasn't faded, just revealed that he believes Makhachev presents a better stylistic matchup for him compared to Khabib, though he still acknowledges the reigning champion's skills. Looking back at his past title fights, Justin admitted that Nurmagomedov was the toughest opponent he had ever faced. On the night they fought, he felt that no matter how well he performed, the outcome likely wouldn't have changed. Now, with another run at the belt in sight, Gaethje is determined to prove he has learned from those past defeats. But first, he'll have to get through Dan Hooker, because a loss at UFC 313 could send his title hopes crashing down. While Gaethje is one of the few fighters to have won a round against Khabib, he doesn't believe he could have defeated that version of the Eagle in any way possible. That fight, in his eyes, was a battle he was never meant to win. Now, with a high-stakes showdown against Hooker on the horizon, Gaethje is fully locked in on the task ahead. A victory would put him right back in the title conversation, setting up a potential clash with Makhachev, a challenge he sees as a better stylistic fit compared to his previous championship fights. This time, he believes the outcome could be different. That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for daily MMA news.